It's one thing to hear about spooky videos on the internet, and it's something completely different when a legend takes hold of the entire web, sparking stories, cautious warnings, wild recreations, and whispers of unspeakable horror, all surrounding one mysterious clip. The Grifter, the cursed internet video that supposedly drives you insane. Not just a myth, but a piece of digital folklore that refused to die. It all kicked off in the summer of 2009, when online forums like 4chan's/Xboard, notorious for weird, dark tales, were filled with rumors about a strange video named The Grifter. Posters claimed that this video could ruin lives, with effects so intense viewers supposedly suffered nightmares, nausea, even drove themselves into madness or worse. The message was clear. This was no ordinary scary clip. People said that even talking about the Grifter was risky business. Wanting to dig deeper, what exactly was this video? And did anyone ever truly see it? The original post came from a user named _solipsist, who uploaded 3 strange and low-resolution screenshots with no link to the actual footage. Just a warning. That was all it took. Those few images, paired with eerie claims about psychological decay and suicide, were enough to set the forums ablaze. The allure wasn't just the fear, it was the unknowability. In an era where anything could be downloaded or torrented in seconds, the idea that a video could remain hidden or unreachable made it instantly legendary. Some claimed it was originally recovered from a dark web archive, accessible only through long dead onion links. Others believed it was spliced together from real experimental footage created during secret military trials. One thread insisted that the original video had been shot on degraded 8mm film sometime in the 1930s, supposedly part of a deranged art house experiment in Prague. Descriptions of its contents varied wildly, but all shared a common theme: psychological disintegration. Supposedly, the video began with strange, symbolic text in a foreign language, followed by a hallway drenched in darkness. Other accounts described a slow zoom on a rotting plant, overlaid with cryptic text reading, "Your race is the one that is dying." There were close-up shots of mutilated faces and whispers buried deep in the audio. Whispers so low, they were more felt than heard. In the final moments, a screen of red static fades into a message written in Esperanto, referencing a child in a catatonic state still alive, in an unnamed shelter. Perhaps the most bizarre element to emerge from the legend was the porcelain doll rumor. According to some posters, those who managed to watch the video would soon discover a strange porcelain doll hidden somewhere in their home. No one ever explained how the doll got there, only that it arrived after the video. These claims were dismissed by skeptics, but kept resurfacing, along with others describing mysterious power outages, corrupted hard drives, and users deleting their accounts shortly after posting about the video. On YouTube, videos claiming to be the Grifter appeared sporadically, most famously from users like JoeJacob666 and ShirtFag, but they were quickly debunked as creepy fan edits, usually involving borrowed footage from the surreal Czech film Little Otik. Still, those who stumbled across them often reported feeling disturbed, not necessarily by the content, but by the implication that something darker was still out there, unseen. Even after the solipsist came forward and admitted the post was a hoax, the legend continued. Like all good folklore, the confession only added to the mystique. It wasn't long before conspiracy theories emerged claiming the confession was a cover-up, part of an effort to bury the truth. For many, the Grifter was no longer about whether the video was real, it was about what it represented. The fear that some knowledge is too dangerous to witness. It's fascinating how quickly the Grifter's notoriety spread. All it took was a late-night forum post by a user named _solipsist, who shared 3 eerie screenshots and told visitors that viewing the video left scars on the mind. There were no links, no full footage, just chilling claims and mysterious images. That uncertainty only made the hunt more irresistible. The screenshots supposedly showed a dark hallway, a baby crying, hallucinatory scenes with text in strange languages, and an ending message in Esperanto alluding to a child living in catatonia at a shelter. Every new thread and post added to the myth, ramping up the suspense and fear. The lack of evidence only heightened the curiosity, fueling debates about whether anyone could ever really find it. Soon, entire communities were built around chasing shadows. Users began analyzing the screenshots pixel by pixel, hoping to extract hidden metadata or encoded clues in the static. Some even ran the images through forensic software used in law enforcement, claiming to find layered imagery and subliminal symbols embedded deep within the files. A theory emerged that the language on screen wasn't just gibberish, it was a constructed cipher meant to trigger discomfort through unfamiliarity. Others said the text had linguistic roots in Aramaic or Sumerian, languages long associated with ancient curses and forbidden knowledge. The baby, a recurring image in every alleged screenshot, became a central mystery. Some speculated it was a metaphor for rebirth through madness, while others were convinced it was an actual child, subjected to unspeakable experiments. What made things more chilling was how consistent the hallucination reports became, even across posts from users who had never interacted. One claimed to see flashes of teeth behind the darkness. Another heard distorted lullabies in their sleep for nights after merely seeing the stills. A Redditor once described their dreams turning to grainy static and corridors that shifted endlessly, trapping them in a dream loop that mimicked the video's supposed content. The way people talked about the grifter began to resemble how survivors talk about cult indoctrination, an experience that breaks the psyche and rebuilds it in a new, fractured shape. In early 2010, rumors began circulating about a lost version of the video, encoded on a corrupted flash drive found in an abandoned apartment in Krakow. The poster claimed their computer short-circuited after attempting to decode the video file. Others mocked it as an ARG ploy, but still downloaded the corrupted file, just in case it was legit. Some even tried to crowdsource decrypting the footage, but claimed that every attempt left them with blank, black frames. Except for one user who claimed to have heard whispering during playback, despite the video showing nothing. It got to the point where discussing the myth became a kind of ritual. Some users would preface their posts with, "I know I shouldn't be talking about this, but," as if speaking of the video invoked some kind of curse. Even memes built around the grifter carried warnings in the captions. The imagery became iconic. A flickering hallway, a static-covered crib, a bleeding eye socket. For those following the story, these weren't just creepy visuals. They were symbols of something deeper. The idea that certain digital artifacts might carry more than information. They might carry infection. Descriptions snowballed across the web. Some posts said the grifter video contained real footage of torture, satanic rituals, human sacrifice, and disturbing scenes like plants rotting with cryptic text overlay, close-ups of corpses, or possessed individuals. Others spun tales about childlike crying, mutilated faces, distorted images, and a relentless audio track filled with barely audible whispers. Alleged viewers shared drastic symptoms: nausea, night terrors, headaches, and supposedly even suicidal thoughts. Some stories went so far as to connect the grifter to legendary experiments like MK Ultra, mind control gone wild, simulated madness by design. Didn't matter which version surfaced, each account added to the creepy mosaic, ramping up the legend. And through all of it, the question remained: did anyone ever see the real video, or was this an elaborate, collective prank? The video's alleged contents became more surreal and grotesque with every new thread. One widely circulated account described a slow pan across a basement, where the walls seemed to melt and reform into screaming faces. Another mentioned a scene where a mirror cracks on its own, showing a reflection that wasn't the person holding the camera. Some insisted there were visual glitches that didn't behave like typical digital errors. Faces warping in unnatural ways, shadows detaching from their sources, or symbols appearing for single frames that no one could identify. As the description spread, so did the conviction that the video was never meant to be entertainment. It was designed to disorient and mentally dismantle. A few users claimed it was structured like a psychological trap. The video allegedly began with simple imagery: an abandoned hallway, a soft baby cry, a flickering light. Then it ramped up in sharp, escalating bursts, sudden cuts to ritualistic figures, grainy footage of screaming animals, unidentifiable fluids dripping down stained tiles. But the most disturbing element, many agreed, was the sound design. Buried beneath the faint whispers and static were what some believed to be infrasound frequencies. Audio too low for conscious hearing, but capable of triggering fear, nausea, and even cardiac distress. Those familiar with military-grade psychological warfare pointed to infrasound as a tool once used in non-lethal weapons and crowd control, reinforcing the MKUltra theory. And then there were the dream reports. Multiple users posted that after seeing even a fake version of the grifter, they began having eerily consistent nightmares. In these dreams, they walked through dimly lit corridors where they felt watched by something just out of frame. Often, the dream would end with a door slowly creaking open and the unmistakable cry of a baby echoing behind it. These shared elements, despite no original footage to verify, only deepened the illusion that some psychological residue of the video was spreading from person to person. Psychologists who stumbled on the thread weighed in with terms like mass suggestion, digital haunting, and cognitive contagion. Still, those explanations felt too clean, too clinical, because despite all the red flags, users kept looking. The grifter was irresistible, precisely because no one could prove it existed. Every account, whether absurd, dramatic, or terrifying, helped paint a mental picture of a video that people could imagine in perfect, horrifying clarity. And perhaps that's where its true power came from. Not in what anyone actually saw, but in the vivid, deeply personal horror of what they thought they might. Plenty of adventurous souls tried to dig out the truth. Threads popped up not just on 4chan, but on Reddit and other forums, full of warnings from those who allegedly survived watching the grifter, or from those itching to be next. Despite countless searches, no one ever verified the existence of the original video. Only scattered recreations were found. These grifter clips, uploaded to YouTube by users like JawJacob666 and ShirtFag, featured dead-end hallways and unsettling sounds, but never matched the shrieking terror promised by the legend. Internet detectives quickly realized most of these videos used footage borrowed from the surreal 2000 Czech film Little Otik, Greedy Guts. This discovery steered the conversation into an entirely different direction. Was the whole thing a hoax, or did the real video ever exist at all? As these fan-made recreations spread, the hunt began to fracture. On one side were skeptics, eager to break the illusion and debunk what they saw as a classic creepypasta hoax. On the other side were die-hard believers who treated every new upload like a sacred clue. View counts spiked anytime a video claimed to be the grifter, no matter how amateur it looked. Comment sections became battlegrounds, half warning others to not risk watching it, and half mocking those who believed a few flickering frames could ruin a life. Some even began rating the recreations on a fear scale, with titles like Grifter V2, Hallway Cut, or Dollmaker's Ritual, earning underground cult status. There were those who insisted that the real video had been uploaded only once, briefly, and that it was taken down within minutes by either YouTube moderation or something more sinister. A handful of users swore they had downloaded it, but claimed the file couldn't be transferred, copied, or even opened without technical errors. When played, they said it caused strange glitches, monitors flickering, CPU fans spinning up wildly, and in one dramatic account, a power outage that knocked out the entire block. Others spoke of a subtle pulsing sound beneath the audio, like a heartbeat growing louder the longer the video ran. By late 2010, certain users started treating the grifter like a lost media case, akin to the search for rare banned cartoons or cursed test footage from early horror film experiments. Forums began compiling timelines, suspect accounts, and cataloging every recreation uploaded. Interestingly, many of the videos labeled as grifter footage showed uncanny similarities in color grading, pacing, and audio distortion, almost as if they were following some unseen script. This led to theories that the same person or group was seeding these clips deliberately, trying to resurrect the myth, or maybe even cover up the real one by flooding the internet with fakes. Some believed the legend itself was evolving, a kind of internet tulpa, gaining power from repetition and belief. If enough people believed the grifter existed, then maybe in some strange way it would. There were even users who claimed to dream about the footage they hadn't seen. Hallway dreams, static overlays, and sudden cuts to crying. Whether these experiences were the result of suggestion or something more unexplainable, no one could say. But one thing was certain. The deeper you went, the more blurred the line between fact and fiction became. The legend's roots tie back directly to manipulation and creative trolling. The original creator, known as the _solipsist, came clean not long after the myth caught fire, admitting in archived messages that the grifter was simply an invention to troll users and spark debate on the paranormal message board. Screenshots were edited using scenes from Little Audic, just to give the story some visual bite. Yet, like any good urban legend, the truth didn't kill the myth. It only strengthened it, making the grifter the internet's favorite ghost story that just wouldn't die. Even with this confession, the legend kept evolving. New layers were added, claims of subliminal audio, infrasound, technical glitches, and dead witnesses, each new rumor weaving desperation through the digital crowd. Of course, not everyone bought into the scare. Skeptics pointed out the recycled footage and the lack of any concrete evidence. No raw video file, just rumors and artful editing. Debunkers like Scare Theater traced the visuals to Little Otic and called out the myth as a creepypasta in disguise. But for others, the hunt for the real grifter video created an ongoing quest, much like searching for lost media, forbidden archives, or brown note audio files that could warp the mind. The chase became part of internet culture, with users daring each other to find the real video, and everyone wanting to be the first to report their experience. Why does a story like The Grifter take such a hold on people's imagination? Maybe it's the perfect combination of forbidden fruit, digital ghost stories, and playground dares for a new generation. The idea that forbidden knowledge just a click away could ruin lives is tantalizing, especially in an era where nearly every video imaginable is out there, except for the one everyone is told to beware. Some stories described failed attempts to copy the cursed film, with rumors that anyone who had watched the video and survived found a mysterious porcelain doll hidden somewhere in their home before dying. No physical evidence, no real victims, just the stuff of nightmares and campfire storytelling gone viral. Part of what gives The Grifter its unnerving power is that it feels like a story tailor-made for the internet age, the age of endless access, where nothing is truly hidden. And yet, here's a video that eludes discovery, that defies the internet's total memory. In a time when even obscure government files and lost TV pilots are eventually uncovered, the grifter remains frustratingly out of reach. That absence becomes a mirror, a dark space where imaginations run wild. It turns the viewer into a participant, a detective, a storyteller. The mystery becomes interactive, evolving with every retelling and every attempt to locate the source. The story's longevity also owes something to human psychology. We're wired to be drawn toward the forbidden, to touch the flame even after being told it burns. The grifter functions as digital forbidden fruit, tempting, dangerous, and possibly life-altering. Its cursed reputation only increases its appeal. People want to know what could be so terrifying that it has to be hidden. That question is the hook, and it's never answered, which is precisely why it never stops pulling. And then there's the symbolism. The porcelain doll, frequently mentioned in user stories, feels less like a literal object and more like a ritualistic token, an omen of doom, a physical echo of digital sin. In some variations of the myth, the doll doesn't appear until after the viewer has begun to feel the psychological effects of the video. It's always in a different place, on a windowsill, behind a bathroom mirror, sitting at the edge of the bed. No one ever remembers buying it or owning it before. The implication? That the video doesn't just affect your mind, it follows you into your world. The few who claim to survive watching it describe escalating paranoia, static on televisions that aren't turned on, shadows moving just out of frame, a persistent pressure in the ears. One user even reported waking up with deep scratches on their arms and no memory of how they got there, only that they'd tried to download a version of the grifter hours earlier. Some of these accounts are clearly fabricated, but others carry the strange weight of genuine belief, the kind that blurs fiction and truth. And in digital spaces, belief spreads like wildfire. Every time a thread about the grifter goes viral, there are warnings. Don't search for it. Don't even talk about it. But of course, these warnings act as reverse psychology, daring users to go further. In that way, the grifter becomes a test, not of bravery, but of obsession. How far are you willing to go to find a video you shouldn't watch? Over the years, dozens claim to have footage or lost archives of the grifter. One of the most persistent tales involved Gregory Burkhart, a writer who declared receiving a clip containing embedded subliminal audio signals. He warned that those signals, especially the low-frequency infrasound, could trigger hallucinations, migraines, and an overwhelming urge to run. Supposedly, technical glitches plagued any attempt to upload the footage online, adding another shadowy layer to the already tangled mythos. Whether real or not, these anecdotes kept the mystery alive, building suspense and multiplying the intrigue. The grifter legend inspired a flood of creative efforts, from mockumentaries to chilling creepypasta videos and breakdowns in iceberg explainer clips, each trying to capture its disturbing and mysterious essence. Many began speculating that the entire phenomenon was a psychological experiment, with creators meant to simulate insanity or test the limits of digital horror. Stories about lost media and dark web discoveries merged with these interpretations, creating a tangled puzzle where the truth was always out of reach. For years, internet users debated whether anyone ever produced a video capable of truly haunting viewers, pushing minds to the edge and beyond. Despite the original creator confirming it was all fiction, the legend continues because people simply can't look away from such a compelling story. It's odd, in a world dominated by viral clips, that the most powerful ones are the ones nobody can find. The grifter belongs to a unique category of urban legend that exists not through proof, but through persistent doubt. Disturbing descriptions, rotting plants, cryptic messages, terrified children, melting walls, cries, and whispers, layer fiction with imagined fragments, fueling the legend. With origins often twisted and always disputed, the story's changing details guarantee it always lingers in the collective digital imagination. Every time the legend is discussed across forums or horror subreddits, there's always someone issuing stern warnings. Don't seek the video, don't watch it, don't even talk about it. These warnings read like reverse psychology, encouraging thrill seekers and digital detectives to scour even deeper for the truth. Attempts to share the video or even copy it are said to lead only to technical failure or personal disaster. Some pass the story along just to spook their friends. Others turn the conversation into horror memes, giving movie titles a grifter twist or making playful threads to see how far the legend can be stretched. The myth has become such an entrenched part of internet lore that for some, it almost doesn't matter if it's real, because it's such a good story. It's wild to think that a simple post, mixed with a passion for horror, art, and online pranking, became one of the most enduring internet urban legends ever. The original post, a handful of creatively edited movie frames, and the admission of its creator as a troll still hasn't killed the legend. It's grown into a cautionary tale, a piece of internet history that existed not because it was ever seen, but because thousands believed in the possibility that something so disturbing could just be one click away. Chasing after the grifter feels like searching for a ghost hiding inside the internet, always lurking but impossible to grab. It's a legend that challenges thrill seekers to confront fears on screen, feeding off warnings, endless debates, and failed hunts for the elusive original video. This persistence keeps new generations hooked, each wave adding its own twist to the story. What keeps it alive, even after being debunked, is the rush of chasing forbidden mysteries and sharing the legend as a modern campfire tale. The fact that the grifter can't be caught or proven only strengthens its hypnotic pull, suggesting that simply seeing it might change your life forever. Its tale, swirling with talk of hallucinations, trauma, and secretive horrors, became a ritual among web explorers, sparking countless retellings and artistic recreations. Curiosity is the fuel here, feeding a story not rooted in concrete facts, but thriving in the shadows of digital culture, morphing as new claims and warnings proliferate. The grifter stands as the blueprint of a modern urban legend, a blend of vivid horror, creativity, and the powerful lure of the unknown, proving myths don't have to be real to be unforgettable. If this story hooked that curiosity, maybe this is the time to deep dive into more internet legends and find out what really makes the web so creepy, mysterious, and fun. Hit that subscribe button, share this story, and join the hunt for the next viral mystery. Because on the internet, the scariest legends might just be the ones nobody can ever see. Keep exploring, and who knows what's waiting in the shadows of the screen next.